Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of MTG Arena. Today is Friday, October 18th. Started a little late, so I'm already a little bit sleepy. So let's just hop into the game. We're following a strategy here where we're sticking with what wins. In the last game we won, mostly because the other player had a bad connection and didn't play, but a victory is a victory. We're going to stick with victories until we no longer can play. That way my statistics will show me what classes of cards I'm playing more than any other. I'm looking to think about what cards I should get. I think mostly I should get land cards first and maybe a bunch of neutral cards that don't seem like they get used very often. I haven't really been seeing a lot of people use neutral cards. Meanwhile, we're finally up to speed with the content here. I don't think we need to do that first. Reach undergrowth. What's this undergrowth ability? Choose up to one target creature with flying you don't control. Gets ++ in. Okay. So to play this, I think the strategy is to play this and throw things into the ground. And then meanwhile I'll take that and put that on top. I'm still trying to learn here quite a bit. I understand just the very basics, and I think that's pretty much it. We're playing against a blue-red character. We want a gate. Each player sacrifices a creature, a planeswalker. Each who can't discards a card. Okay. So I can't. Or I can, and didn't realize that was going to work that way. Let's play that. Why are these cards not stacking? Oh, because they're different. Okay, let's play this. Here's a creature of flying you don't control. Has +5/+5. Take action, attack it, kill it. There we go. And see, when your opponent's playing, it's easy to play. Number of creatures in my graveyard. I'm not ready to play that, I don't think. Search your library for a... Yeah, I don't want another land card. I don't need it. Let's see. Play that instead. Because he's playing a bunch of red spells to kill all my creatures, he's playing right into my trap. My trap that I really didn't have to work too hard to lay. So now we've got a 6/6 character. So unless he's got a spell that can do 6 damage, which honestly, had I been counting, I should have been more careful about, because he probably does have a spell to do 6 damage. He had 2 spells that could do 7 damage. Alright. Meanwhile, I'm just getting land after land. So I'm gonna lose, so let's come over here to talk about this game.
Seems we've encountered
We have Incredible Dracula Vorgosi Returns.
of knowledge.
This is one of those city resource management games where characters wander around from building to building, mining, giving resources. $5.59 discounted, English, German, Korean, and Russian. That's an odd combination of languages. Nothing impressive about these games though. Nothing I'd really want to play. Meanwhile, we have the ability to play that. And that's it. And he's got the Royal Scions, which
Let us plan for the trials ahead.
Yeah, when this casts a spell, it gives it more health. When this does something, it gives it more health. And when this does something, it loses 8 health. Target creature. Okay, let's see how this works. And was that a basic land? Yeah, basic lands. This would have been a good card to play a lot earlier. Like we've got ton of mana, ton of buffs. If I can just get something.
I enjoy the proper
on the
application
field.
of knowledge.
Might as well play that. It's so weird. There kind of feels like there needs to be a balancing system here for playing so much land. Like half of every turn seems to be focused around playing a land. Doesn't make sense. What ability is this? Pay 4 life, Underwhelm Leech gains indestructible until the end of the turn and tap it. Okay. So, Death Touch, fight this guy. +3, +3. Can I do both of these things? No. +3 probably would save it anyways.
My answers lie in the cold truth.
Next we have the Jackbox Party Pack 6 out on Steam. People still happy with the Jackbox games. I think I already have at least one of them, so I'd be willing to get the others. I think somebody gifted me the Jackbox game, and that's why I have it. I don't play with other people though, so it really isn't a great game to have on the wish list, but I'll put it there anyways. Having party games just in case are fine. 4 damage? Alright, fine. Have to protect my creature. The Jackbox Party Pack is $24.89. English full audio is the only language it supports, and I would say that's probably very accurate. Let's see. Use indestructible. Yeah, I could have just made him indestructible anyways. I wasted that card. That was dumb of me. Yeah. Having party games just in case you're going to need them isn't a terrible idea, but you probably should be aware if you are highly unlikely to ever do that. Right, I'm going to take this. Put it in my hand. And then play this. And didn't say please. Counter target spell. Its controller puts the top 3 cards in the library to the graveyard. Or wait. Okay. Attack. Probably gonna lose here. TechRaptor has an article here. Teamfight Tactics is going standalone, getting seasonal resets. This is, I guess, a spin-off game of League of Legends. Let's see. I guess that's what Teamfight Tactics is. I don't know if Teamfight Tactics is the thing that was originally Dota chess. It may have been. And then they spun off from being a Dota game and became their own thing. Teamfight Tactics is an 8-player free-for-all strategy game set in the League of Legends uniform. Teamfight Tactics is instead an auto chess spin-off. I guess it was called auto chess before, wasn't it? Not Dota chess. Gotta pay attention to what I'm doing.
I will learn what nobody yet knows.
How many cards does he have left? 35? He's got plenty of cards. Right, put this back in hand. Yeah, bringing that back to the field is probably great. Can we do this and not die? I mean, not really. Let's do this. Target creature has to fight this, and then I guess maybe I needed to make him indestructible first. But that would have been the better move.
Let us plan for the trials ahead.
Yeah. That would have totally been the better move. Put that on the field. While that's resolving, we have a Gamatsu article here for the Switch. Sega ages Shinobi, first details and screenshots. It's just a re-release of Shinobi, it looks like. Oh, by the way, it seems like scrolling on my mouse wheel over on the right also moves the cards we're looking at over here. Yeah. Another old Sega game coming back and being ported and re-released is not a terrible idea, but it has to actually be a game people really want to play, and that's a big if. And I made a huge mistake there. And then no attacks. Yeah, I'm just gonna lose here. Next we have a game on Steam, Monkey King: The Hero's Back. Pretty much every game based on the Monkey King, particularly if it's a Chinese game, has not been super well received because they look like terrible low effort Chinese MOBAs. This one looked a little bit different when I first saw it, but you can see it's mostly negative. So at this point, am I supposed to read in that maybe it's getting negatively reviewed because, like, let's look at the reviews, because I was thinking maybe it was getting review bombed because of the Hong Kong situation, but I don't think that's fair, really. When he enters the battlefield, return target land card from a graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. This is a creature. The review we see here is I buy it again when my Chinese gets better. Right now I can't understand or read anything, despite its claim to have an English version. Sad. That's the only English review we have that's negative at all. So I think this is a managing expectations game that has lied about its translation and localization, whereas if they had just said this is a Chinese game and it's Chinese only, it would have been better. But yeah, they're claiming 12 languages of full audio and subtitle support. I don't believe it, honestly. And this was today that it says it's not in the right language. And it is mostly negative, so I feel like that is in line with other people's experience. I suppose it's on the Chinese government's heads, frankly, too, if all Chinese games on Steam started getting more negative reviews based on their own actions. Like, it's kind of a fair, it's sort of a wrong-headed but sort of fair boycott mentality to take, frankly, because even if you're just taking it from a very abstract view that if you support a Chinese company, then money through the taxes on that Chinese company will be going to the Chinese government, and you don't want to support the Chinese government, it's kind of fair not to buy Chinese games, or if you want to waste your money, I suppose, and review bomb them. That's kind of a fair expression of free speech still, and that's where this all started in a lot of ways anyways. So I can't fully disagree with the review bomb, and I never really could buy into the Steam's concept of an off-topic review bomb, because that never made sense. And frankly, the concept of an off-topic review bomb was only introduced after Chinese citizens, in an probable coordinated or attempt to satisfy the Chinese government, review bombed another game. So I guess what's good for the goose is good for the gander in a lot of ways. This is just drawing cards. Next we have a game on Steam called Dominoes, which is not a domino game as much as just setting up dominoes and knocking them over. Visually, if this was way more polished, I might be interested in a game like this, but at its current appearance it seems pretty dumb, and it seems like there's a time limit too, so you have to get from point A to point B. This is $1.19 discounted in English only, so yep. It's like a speed run game while going through a maze while setting up dominoes. That's a lot of different things. Yeah, that just needs more polish. There's a Magic tweeted out this article, How to Play Magic the Gathering. I think I'm gonna have to read it, but I think probably I know these basic parts at least well enough that I probably don't need to do more than skim this article. I need a good starter deck for Magic Arena is what I need. Number of instant and sorcery spells you own in exile and in your graveyard. Okay. So I need I need more spell cards in the graveyard. Nutaku is with their promotion. Let's see. So I want to do this and this. Okay. Nutaku and the Takeraptor with their tie-in promotion that they do. Promotes games from Nutaku. Nutaku's got a new game called Vixen Wars, which is a tower defense game. I may have already talked about it, but I think what's more interesting to mention is that they've given up the ghost as far as their screenshots are concerned, and they put up a screenshot for Vixen Wars that has two topless girls, cartoon girls on there. And it is slightly blurred, but then it's also lowered in opacity, so the blurring is even hard to recognize. Let's see, Death Touch, Lifelink. I could block this with Lifelink, I guess. And I could block this. But yeah, even if you're blurring out a nipple, two completely shirtless characters are pretty obvious. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 character counter on this guy. Alright. Does a land count as a non-creature spell? No. Good to know. We can start pumping some things out. As Death Touch is gone. This guy doesn't have flying, so I can attack with this. And yep. Takeraptor, you're scrolling down to the next picture, has another, well, slightly censored screenshot. It's certainly obvious that the girls are topless and bottomless in some cases. So with that, I guess Nutaku has become no longer a safe for work site, or well, Nutaku never was. Takeraptor seems to be no longer a safe for work site. Let's see. And we'll have to move forward from that perspective, I guess, is that I'll have to make sure I look at every Tech Raptors article to make sure the pictures aren't not family friendly, YouTube family friendly. Let's see. This can block that. This can block that. This actually can block that. And then, let's see. That, see, that doesn't have death touch, that doesn't have death touch, that does have death touch. I don't want that to die. I don't want that to die. So we'll just block with those. Draw 2 cards, jumpstart. Do I have anything I could jumpstart? Oh. Draw 2 cards, then amass X, which is the number of cards in your hand. Let's do that first. Then we've got another mana. And then 4 damage to a target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile. Alright. Do that. And attack with this, this, and this. Think I've won here. Tech Raptor has an article. The American University Hearthstone team has been banned for the Hong Kong protest. Same 6-month ban, pretty much. On top of that, in this article, several other teams, I think it's probably up to like 6 teams now have been banned. And I don't see any reason why this wouldn't just become a tradition at this point, in which everything gets banned, everyone gets banned, because I don't know how many American university teams are going to be in the opinion that they shouldn't be pro-free speech and pro-democracy. Even an incredibly conservative yeah, I think even I may cast this with converted mana cost. So we'll do 2. Yeah. Let's see. I cancel that. Next. And next. And I'll attack. And next. There we go. And now we're up to gold tier. Gold tier 4. When you get to gold tier 4, I assume at that point that's it. Like, let's go to the profile and look. Yeah. Gold tier 4 will get us 2 packs in 13 days and 1,000 gold in 1 card style. Next, we would try to get to platinum reward level, which would give us 3 packs, 1,000 gold, and 2 card styles. And then diamond reward, which would give us 4 packs. And then mythic reward, which we're probably not making it there. The big step up, it seems, is platinum. You want to get platinum every month because that they seem to make it seem like card packs are way more valuable than they are. They probably are because a card pack is worth 1,000 gold and they're giving you 1,000 gold too. Card styles, I can take or leave, and to me are pretty much useless. And see, this will restart on Monday. There are no more daily quests, so I can't go up anymore. So really, it's just as many of the daily rewards you want to do. Theoretically, I could be done with playing Magic right now if I was done with the news, but I'm totally not, so we have to move forward. Yep. I kind of wish, personally, that the Hearthstone thing would just go away. But it's the biggest news and the realest news in video games, at least this year, if not of the decade. We're not dealing with some BS, like we hate the Epic Store, and thus we're going to make up some story against Epic, or it's not just some. Video games are problematic because you play as the Nazis in World War II shooters story, like, which we get a lot of dumb stories that are barely news, if news at all. And the Activision Blizzard Hearthstone thing is a pain. It's a real story. It needs to be reported. It needs to be kept up and be reported as long as it is actual news, and there's something new to say. But on the other hand, personally, I kind of wish it would just go away, because I'd like to just be done with Hearthstone and never have to mention its name again, and just move on to the next thing. Move on to focusing on playing Magic, and move on to focusing on making other content. As for having more time to make more content, that's only really going to happen if I stop playing Magic as much as I have been this week, which that'll happen, certainly. I didn't even play it that much this week. This guy has Death Touch. This one can't be blocked. Or even if it did, I wouldn't want to block it. Draw a card. Jumpstart. I don't understand what Jumpstart. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying something else. I'm gonna put this in the. I'm gonna submit that, discard that into the graveyard. And then, what do we want to do? Do we want to block? Let's go ahead and attack. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article. All In Games announces 3 new titles. All In is probably a terrible name for a game company. Spooky Space Adventures Galore apparently is a game they're making. And what else? It Came From Space is one of the names of the game. One is called Arborea. One is called It Came From Space. And then one is called The Protagonist EX1. And you can see these screenshots. And I have never heard of All In Games, so we'll see if there's anything interesting around any of that. Is there anything I can do? I'm about to lose. That's what I can do. I can just lose. lose gracefully, and play the next deck. Let's see, block here. Might as well. This is an example of a game where you just don't have the red mana that you needed. And that's the problem with these combo decks, is that you can potentially be in a worse situation. Let's see, Gamatsu has an article here. Red Dead Redemption 2 PC trailer is out. The PC version is due out November 5th. I don't know why you'd want to really do business with Rockstar, because they've had some shenanigans too. Let's not forget that. There's been plenty of companies that have had shenanigans that they've done in the past year alone, let alone the recent history. But also, why would you want to play Red Dead Redemption on PC when you can't play the original game on PC, Red Dead Redemption, or Red Dead, the original Red Dead game? That's kind of a confusing concept. The developers of Saints Row found the source code though of Saints Row 2, and they're going to work to bring it on to a modern engine and re-release it, which that's nice to hear. Oh, I just exiled the land. I needed the land. Right. Afterlife. When a creature dies, create a 1/1 creature. Needed that land. Alright, so now I need to pay 2 life to play this. And then attack. Like, I could kind of see though. Yeah, I could see maybe 10 years down the line playing. I mean, I already have Bully, which is a Rockstar game. I bought that a long time ago. I could see getting around and to the point where I'm just like playing games from Rockstar. I played LA Noire, so it's just kind of right now at my current perspective. I don't know why I'd want to play Red Dead. I don't think Red Dead Redemption 2 was even particularly a great game. I think part of the problem with it boils down to it. That was a mistake. I wish I could undo that, but nope. Let's see. Player sacrifices a card. Okay. Pitiless Pontiff gains Death Touch and indestructible until the end of the turn. If we sacrifice another card. Right. Let's see, no attacks this turn, I think. Yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption 2's main problem is that they wanted that multiplayer online component, and that made it a worse game. Whereas Red Dead Redemption 1, I think, was completely a single player adventure and had better story because of it. And I didn't even finish Red Dead Redemption 1, so there's a great reason not to play Red Dead Redemption 2 also. Alright, let's use this ability. Yes. and sacrifice that card. So now he's indestructible. Can you destroy a card that is indestructible? I would say no. I would say that that is definitely a no on that phrase. And this one is Death Touch and indestructible, so block. Might as well. Meanwhile, do I want to attack? I could probably attack with that and be fine. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article here for the PC, PS4, and Switch. Fairy Tale game details, storyline, Gajeel, Red Fox, Huvia, Loxer, and requests. This is a Fairy Tale JRPG action adventure game. It looks like it. I just realized I don't know what Fairy Tale is. It's the pink-haired guy, but I guess I don't really know what goes on in the game. That was kind of like a comedy adventure game, adventure anime. It's moderately popular, I would say. It's been going on for a long time, and in anime, if you make it even to the second season, you're a major success. But yeah, it I think has a heavy fan base. You may put a target creature card from a graveyard on top of your library. Okay, so resolve that. Witch's Cottage. He's playing Witch's Cottage too, so seems like something. I'm gonna just auto pass. Sacrifice a creature. Each who can't discards. Right, so let me ask a question here. If I use this and then sacrifice this creature to gain indestructible. Then we both sacrifice a creature anyways. So indestructible does not work. Let's see. Let's play this, I guess. Guess that's the best thing we can do. Legendary creature, human advisor. Do I want to attack yet? No. Jack Raptor has an article here. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed. I think I got the story here that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1 was a buggy mess. It does kind of look like a buggy mess, even being an older game. And so now they've delayed it in the hopes that Bloodlines 2 isn't a buggy mess. That being said, this is a case of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 E3ing itself, which is a phrase I'm trying to establish. You announced this game at E3 or at some big presentation and got people really, really hyped about it, and then you're either going to now deliver a lesser product or you're going to deliver late. Sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among the creatures I control. Exile target to the graveyard. And then draw a card. There you go. That was a pointless spell. Next. Attack. Go. Here we can see in the TechRaptor article, the decision was made in order to, quote, value quality over getting the game out quickly. The first game was famously rushed, with lead writer Mitsoda wishing the game had been in development for another 6 months before release. Hardsuit Labs wants to avoid the same fate for the second game, hence the delay. Although inherently this is just an admittance that they don't know how to build in the buffer, and they probably ran into some kind of development problems. You don't announce a delay just because, oh, we want more time. That's not how it works. You either want more time at the beginning before you announce a release date, or you don't ask for a delay or announce a delay at all. But I'm not super upset with games being delayed. I'd much rather see games delayed and released in good quality than unfinished bad qualities games be released. And frankly, this year in particular is like most years, in which there's plenty of games coming out, so there's no real need or grand demand for something. Destroy all creatures. What does this do? Sacrifices it for indestructible. Next. I'm just gonna do one. Well, he's got to block one, so just do one attack. That makes more sense. There we go. If I could just do 3 damage right now, that'd be the end of the game. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article here. Action RPG Unsouled hits PC this spring 2020. Unsouled, another game that looks like Salt and Sanctuary in a bit. Of course, this is a hype article for a game that isn't out yet, so there's no reason for this. What is this? Bankrupt in Blood. An additional cost to cast the spell. Sacrifice 2 creatures, draw 3 cards. Interesting. I'll resolve that. Let's see. Burglar Rat. When Burglar Rat enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Okay. Resolve that. Resolve that. What do we want to discard? Let's see, we'll discard that. TechRaptor has an article here. Pokemon Go Halloween events lets you catch something spooky. So, Pokemon in spooky outfits, I guess. There's apparently a collection of Pokemon that will either be easier to catch or available to catch. I don't see why a Butterfree, for example, or a Magmar would not be capable of being caught normally. I don't know how many people are really playing Pokemon Go anymore, though, since Pokemon Masters is now out and Pokemon Go has been going long enough for people to start getting burned out on it. I'm auto passing, so it's our opponent that's taking forever, even though our countdown timer is also paused. But I have like 2 timeouts still. And I guess these timeouts are probably actual hourglasses if you were playing real world Magic. And so when one player, kind of like chess timers, when it's one player's turn, the other one is getting counted down constantly. Because there's, I think, a way to even see like the full time you've been playing. Anyways, moving on, we have a game here called Battle Planet Judgment Day, which looks like a 3D twin stick shooter on a small planet, which probably isn't a good idea. It's an interesting twist, I suppose, but not it. The only way it would make sense is if you're specifically trying to force the player to eliminate everybody on the planet, and even then it seems like it'd be pretty simplistic and boring experience. Let's see, English full audio, a bunch of other languages. I might be willing to put this on the fall list just to see what people's receptions are. It's discounted to $12.74. I just want to see if people like that or say anything positive about it or don't have anything to say about it. Meanwhile, I suspect by the time I get to cleaning up the fall list, it still won't have any reviews. This guy is just stretching for time. Like, he's just hoping that I'll get bored and quit. But I have a backup plan for that. That's cover video game news. So Game of Sutra has an article. The Analog Pocket offers a modern way to play and make Game Boy games. This is an interesting looking little device here for $200, which is a little expensive. Let's see if we can go to their website and show what it looks like. It looks like a Game Boy, except for it has 4 buttons, and the buttons, honestly, I think for Game Boy should not be in the D-pad formation, because your thumb, for most people, is going to want to be a little bit closer towards the center for both anyways, and the angle is just going to be a little bit different. It plays Game Boy games, Game Boy Colors, and Game Boy Advance game cartridges. Real cartridges being plugged into the back of it. There's a left and right trigger at the top, which also wasn't in it. Pretty high resolution, which probably won't matter much. And I imagine it's it's an FPGA, fully programmable gate array. Is that some kind of trademark? Apparently, FPGA looking like that. I haven't ever seen that. Well, that took forever, but we won, so we're gonna let it ride. So using an FPGA, it probably doesn't have to reprogram the hardware, really, and it's basically, I guess, just emulating a Game Boy Advanced, or something similar to that. I don't know, for $200, what you're getting probably is still a little too expensive. The battery life will be a major issue. USB-C charging, link style plug, so you can actually use the old connectors. The big problem with the Analog Pocket, and this really is not an example of just playing ROMs or something. You would have to have those games, and you'd have to hope those games still play. And like, if you have a Pokemon game that has a battery in it, those batteries maybe are still good, but probably aren't. so they wouldn't hold any save files. That's going to be another factor you're going to have to deal with. So I'm not sure if I could really recommend the Analog Pocket. A better move, in my opinion, is to get the Game Boy Pi case that has been available for about 6 months, it seems like now. That allows you to put either Raspberry Pi Zero in it or a clone of a Raspberry Pi Zero, of which there's a few that are a lot more powerful, and I'd recommend getting one of those clones, and then you can just install RetroPie onto the operating system in that case that looks like a Game Boy and play a lot more ROMs than just playing whatever collection of Game Boy and Advanced Game Boy games you might own. Because I heavily suspect not too many people have a bunch of Game Boy games that they own. Even as someone who collected Nintendo games and had a decent amount of Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games and such, I wouldn't be running into anything close to a complete collection. And even if I did have a complete collection, I don't think that there's too many of those that I'd even really want to play. So there's a lack of, I think, logic behind the Analog Pocket, but there certainly will be a group of people that will enjoy that. Alright. So let's play this. Next we have an article from Komatsu, Under Night In-Birth EX Late CL-R. Launches February 20th, 2020 in North America. Yet another fighting game in the Underbirth series. Under Night In-Birth series, or Under Night series. It's coming out for the PS4 and Switch, oddly. Not for the Xbox, and not for PC. Maybe it's already out for the Xbox and PC. Still haven't made any progress as far as thinking about whether I'm going to play any fighting games ever and cover them. Alright. Death Touch Afterlife. 1. So what I want to do is see if I can do all attacks here, but I can't, so what I would have to do is do no attacks, and then you can play in your main phase too. Let's see, next we have a Komatsu article for PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. Stay Cool Kobayashi-san, a River City Ransom story, details some gameplay systems. This is yet another River City Ransom game, which is about the 4th or 5th of these to come out in less than 5 months, it feels like. This one looks better than some of the others, but I still think River City Girls is kind of going to be the standout good game, and the rest of these are going to be unimportant, unnecessary to play games. See, this feels a lot like the Simpsons arcade game, and if they came out with a new arcade game like that, maybe there'd be a reason I'd want to play it, but that'd mostly be because of nostalgia, not because of it being a legitimate game to cover. About to lose, I think. Let's see. Windows Central has an article that was tweeted out by Major Nelson. Xbox Elite Controller Series 2 early preview. Possibly the best controller ever. Of course, Windows Central would say that, wouldn't they? There's no big surprises, I think, coming to the Windows, Microsoft Xbox Wireless Elite controllers. Now, not until they actually announce the next Xbox. Maybe there'll be some new improvements on the next Xbox controller. But until then, all you're getting is little pro tweaks here that make it run a little bit better and play a little bit better, but then also majorly increase it majorly increases the price of the controller too. I don't think I'd ever buy an Elite at all. Don't think I'm gonna win here. Next we have a game on Steam called Earthlingo, which looks like an asset flip low effort game. Like any game where you're just running around a blocky city. That's pretty much all it is nowadays. Play as an alien running around, apparently learning language, free to play. English, French, and Japanese. So this looks to me like it's either a really weird Japanese game trying to teach Japanese to French and English speakers, or just a troll game and the language is completely wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if the language is completely wrong, but I don't know enough. I don't care to investigate enough, frankly, to see if the French or the Japanese is right. But certainly learning French and Japanese if you're an English speaker doesn't really make any sense. You really should only try and learn one language at a time, otherwise you're going to completely confuse yourself. Even when you're teaching a child to be bilingual, it's kind of hard to do anything there to make that succeed and not confuse the kid and have them saying Spanish words if you're teaching them Spanish and English when they should be speaking English. Right. Let's see, I'm just gonna attack with these. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam here called Toronto, which looks like a platformer action game, shoot 'em up sort of spear throwing game. It seems like that's what you're really doing. There's a little bit of visual polish on this, but it also kind of feels like there's not enough gameplay and mechanics in it. A lot of the screenshots seem pretty empty. This is $4.19 discounted, English only. Let's see, let's go and look at the other games this developer's made and see if we can do some more research. Scores a card and gains one thing. Let's see. Exile. Doing a bunch of different things here. 5, 6 cards cycling through everything. Yeah. The developer of Torrentino has 2 other games, one called Heaven and Hell: The Last War, and then a game called Keepers, the Hunter of Insects. Neither one of them seem to have any reviews at all, or enough reviews to be rated, which makes me think that they're kind of nothing. This. Let's just go ahead and attack there and see what they want to block. So yeah, that's not making it to the fall list. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article here. The National Literacy Trust and Penguin Random House partner to study video games. I see no reason why the study wouldn't obviously come out and say video games are bad in some small way. I mean, they could try and sugarcoat it, but when you have 2 organizations whose main focus is to get people to read books, in particular, Penguin Random House particularly selling books and making their money off books, it's pretty obvious they're going to say video games are bad. And frankly, almost every study that is done against video games or on video games starts off from the concept that they plan on saying video games are bad. They're saying they're going to look for a link between literacy and video game. Yeah, I could see making the argument that people who play games, like a game like this, I'm doing a lot of reading, but I'm not doing anywhere as much reading as I would be if I was just sitting down reading a novel. So yeah, I do almost all my reading online, either on a video game or on websites, and that's not what they want to hear. Certainly they want people to read books so that they could then have a kind of controlling share of the mind space of people. Like, what's a better way to say that? That for hundreds of years, people who were publishing and printing books controlled what people thought, learned, and read. Literacy was used as a tool of war for thousands and upon thousands of years. It's still, in a small way, going on. I guarantee you, this survey will not come out and say video games help improve literacy because it's the only thing kids are reading. When in all actuality, that probably is the right thing to say, is that, yeah, there's plenty of other books they could be reading, but unless they're forced to read it, they don't. And there's very few parents out there that are going to bother to force their kids to read a book. And there's very few kids out there that are going to bother to try and read a book themselves. This doesn't have trample, does it? And then we'll go ahead and block that. And then we'll go ahead and block that. And then block. Do any of these have any abilities? Okay. He could attack here, and he could block here. I could attack here, 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 and here, and then block that. Hold that one back. And we'll see what they want to do with that. Major Nelson tweeted out, Return of Obra Dinn is now available for Xbox One. Lucas Pope also mentioned that. Apparently it's also been exactly 1 year since it came out on PC. Meg Aquarium is also available for Xbox One, $21.95, 59 cents. If I can read the number fast enough. TechRaptor has an article, Be a Space Ferret Stealing Stuff in Widget Satchel. Sounds like an interesting game. When is it coming out? Because this almost certainly is a hype article. Will be coming to PC and Switch sometime in 2019 for $15 with a PS4 and Xbox One version in 2020. Then we've got a picture of it. That's not as visually polished as I hoped it would have been. Yeah, this looks kind of boring, frankly. Do I want to block? Sure, block. This should be the last recording of the last game of this recording, by the way. Okay. So how do I do this? Either I leave these two alone, or I attack with that. And this. Just attack, I guess. But there, I just lost. Next, we have a game on Steam called Tilt It. This is one of those single screen Unity games with the horrendous neon. We haven't seen the horrible neon in a while. Just a puzzle game challenge. It's not really even a puzzle game. Let's see. This is $5.39 discounted, English only. Again, not something I want to play. I'm still at gold tier 4, and I don't think you can fall down below gold tier 4. Alright, we've got plenty of more news to talk about, so stay tuned if you're watching live. Otherwise, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.